Hey there, Sank, everybody. Welcome back for another amazing episode of the Marhaba Crypto Show. So today I have Moby with me, myself also. My name is Ahmed. So Moby, what's going on? How's your day? How's the weather in Australia?
Good man, good, good. Excited, excited. We've got a big show for everyone today. So make sure if you want to keep getting these jams, like, comment, subscribe, get the word out. And we have a lot more content coming up. But yeah, I'm enjoying it here in, I guess it's overcast Australia, Sydney, Australia today. But you're looking very Pakistani there. You got the nice Pakistani Karachi background. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Yeah, currently in Karachi. Check it out, and then I'll let you guys know how the experience was for sure. All right, so let's get this thing started. Okay, so today in the agenda, as always, we got the market update from Obi. He gives us some amazing insights, some fantastic insights for us to know about what's going on in the market. Really, Moby, you saved me like hours of research, so I'm going to thank you in advance. There's the Marhaba update, what's going on with Marhaba, the white paper and all that stuff. There's some exciting stuff. Then there's the insight of the week. And then right after that, we get into a topic that I think you guys are all going to be really excited. It's how to get into NFTs. I know a lot of people are looking at people make a lot of NFTs, but in regards to how to jump into this industry. So, Moby, market update. What's going on? What's going on in crypto?
Well, so I think this is a really exciting one, probably one of the more exciting ones, market updates we've had in a while. So I'll just bring up my screen there. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
total market cap still sitting, it's gone down a little bit, still sitting at, just over $2 trillion, firmly over 2 trillion, which is very nice to see. Bitcoin's down a little bit right now, but we are seeing a lot of support at $47,000. Every time it touches there, it bounces up like a spring. So look at 47,000 for a good support buying base. Not financial advice like anything I talk about today. And look, I do want to get back to Bitcoin in a minute, but I want to draw your eye to Solana. Now, I've been watching Solana closely, very closely for the last couple of weeks. I spoke about why I love Solana. I'm not going to, repeat myself, and bring you guys, obviously want to bring you guys new value. So go back to last week if you want to find out why I'm so bullish on Solana. But I've been watching it closely because it was hovering at the 10th position for a while, like just edging Polkadot, like just a few edges away, right? So I've been watching it every day, and then this morning I refreshed my browser, and not only has it pushed Polkadot to the 10th spot, but it's also beaten USDC, and now it's sitting at the 8th spot. So a month ago, if I had mentioned Solana 8th spot market cap, I don't think everyone would have believed me. But it's doing really, really well. Now, again, go back to last week's episode, comment, subscribe, do all those things. Make sure, you're well across everything we share with you. But what I want to bring to you guys today, which is a little bit different, on my screen here is the institutional backing, right? So Solana for a second week in a row, it's hit an all-time high again. At time of recording, it was sitting at about $97. I think once it hits about 100 US, there will be some profit taking, there will be some price retracement. Nothing to worry about. But what was really interesting is institutional interest is now FOMOing into Solana, which is very, very, very bullish. Now, of course,
Mm-hmm.
Solana is similar to Ethereum, like we discussed last week. It utilizes smart contracts, but the fact that now people are getting sick of gas fees. People have seen some really, really good user cases, and everything that Ethereum has done, Solana has done some version of it. Smart
Mm-hmm.
contracts, DeFi, and even they had Degen Apes, right? So they had their NFT launch, a couple of weeks ago, which was phenomenal, and it did not even touch the gas price. The fees remained very, very, I guess minimal. So your thoughts on Solana, Ahmed? What's your sort of experience been like? Do you
Mm-hmm.
like it? Do you love it? Are you an investor?
As of right now, not. I've been wanting to get in, but unfortunately, so I'm probably gonna jump into it through my brother's account since he's still in Canada. So I'm gonna probably be jumping in from there. But right now, no, got no real understanding on what's going on, but soon.
All good, all good. That's why everyone tunes into the show, right? So, moving on. Speaking of institutional interest, I want to talk
Yeah.
about Bitcoin a little bit, right? So, I was listening to a panel recently that had like the uber rich of the uber rich. You had Raoul Paul there, you had Kevin O'Leary, that guy from Shark Tank, a whole bunch of really wealthy individuals, and they asked a question.
Yes.
One of the questions they asked was Bitcoin versus Ethereum. Now, most people said Ethereum. You guys know me; I'm a bit of an Ethereum maxi. That's my biggest holding, probably 85%, plus holding. But funnily enough, he had said Bitcoin, and I just want to share this clip with you guys, and I just want you to hear for a minute what he spoke about.
Mr. Wonderful, Bitcoin or Ethereum? If I were to put a gun to your head and say, you got $100,000, you got to put it on one, you can't put it on both, you got a 3-year holding period, where do you put your money?
Bitcoin. It's the granddaddy. It's the institutional desire that most of the people I talk to, that whether they are speculating or not, want to establish compliance with their own groups at the institutional sovereign level with Bitcoin first. They're wrangling for 1 to 3%. I have this dialogue every day. They want to get through this whole ESG thing. We talked about that already. They want the compliance platform to market for their internal accounting and internal compliance and external mark to market when there's capital gains involved or not. Most of these guys, which I got to tell you is interesting, they're not considering it a currency. They're considering it a property. They're going to buy it, check the box on the ESG thing when they get a way to do it, which means they may have to mine their own, and then hold it in perpetuity, just like they do, as Peter suggested, with gold.
Okay, so interesting, right? So Kevin O'Leary, a guy who's in bed with institutional buyers, investors. They're all this is the thing too. You got to realize that old money, is kind of slow money, right? They're FOMOing in. They're not necessarily thinking. Of course, I mean that Solana. Yeah, I just discussed. Now they're getting into Solana, but they pay a risk premium by the way of lower returns for safety. Right. So the fact that they know that Bitcoin isn't going away anywhere, the fact that now it's back in countries, they don't mind that, that thing is not going to 10x. Like they're okay with that because of that risk premium. They don't mind. So they're not worried about a 100x Doge or even sort of Cardano. That's what they're sort of looking into. Now, the next thing, speaking of Bitcoin, is now we know, of course, El Salvador adopted Bitcoin as their national tender. But some breaking news, I think, that I just heard yesterday or this morning was now Cuba is now recognizing cryptocurrency. Cuba is now recognizing Bitcoin as central tender. Now, this is really, really interesting. So there's this article here I'm sharing by CNBC, and they talk about the fact that the American embargo on the communist state has turned Cuba into a pariah in the global economy. Cuba's decision to join El Salvador in embracing decentralized virtual cash could help the country to circumvent the US sanctions regime. Now, I'm not a genius, Ahmed, but I'm sure, maybe, I could be wrong, but I'm sure there are 1 or 2 other countries out there that don't like the United States. Right? Like, they can't be the only country that doesn't like US policy. There's enough. So I this is one of the reasons why, you see these big players, institutional buyers, they see that, right? They see that effect of Bitcoin. And now Cuba's watching El Salvador, and other South American countries are watching, Cuba now and thinking, oh, wow, we don't have to tether ourselves to the US economy. So your thoughts on that, Ahmed?
Yeah, that's fun. Yeah, I totally agree with it. And this came in the right time because yesterday I was talking to a few friends and we are talking about how countries are not accepting Bitcoin as, there's an entire documentary on El Salvador and how they're using Bitcoin as a form of payment. And they actually have an entire island that they're testing on it. Or not island, I think it's a part of BitConnect or another crypto companies is the one that's economy is running. People who are selling bananas are selling bananas off of crypto. So it's a positive use case and it's being successful. So I'm looking forward to seeing which other countries accept it, and not necessarily from the politics of who doesn't like America, but also just in the sense of better financial situations. And I mean, I was going to look into of how our current financial systems are can be manipulated with through the wrong means. It's not a fair economic method. So, Kat, that's a whole different conversation. That's a macroeconomics conversation which we can have after. But I'm excited for this. Looking forward to this, and I'm happy that two countries have already accepted it. I'm looking forward to maybe seeing a few other countries that have the strongest financial situation look into it and see if it's something that could fit their criteria.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, I mean, the stakes just keep looking better for Bitcoin. The number of short-term Bitcoin holders, this is by a guy called Yassine from ARK Investments. The number of short-term Bitcoin holders is at an all-time low. A record of 84% of Bitcoin supply has not been moved in 3 months. So, the last quarter, 84% of Bitcoin supply has not been moved. We're going into a supply, I guess, supply compression right now, which is really bullish. Now, obviously, we spoke about Cuba. Now, the thing is, we're very fortunate, right? For us in a lot of countries in the world, crypto is a form of investment. And I don't think anyone needs to be convinced about, the user case of crypto. And that's why you're listening to the show. I'm preaching to the converted here. But in some places, crypto is the difference between fleeing with your life and your life savings, or just fleeing with your life. And to that end, I want to talk about, really briefly, Afghanistan, right? So obviously our brothers and sisters, our du'as and prayers go out to them. May Allah protect each and every Afghani and guide them. But what I want to talk about specifically today is how the Afghans are turning to the crypto market for stability during Taliban takeovers, right? Again, I know this is an imperialist sort of article, and it can lean, whichever way. I'm not here to talk about the political leanings, but the fact that a lot of Afghans do see crypto as a safer store of value than their local currency makes a lot of sense when you have a transition of power. That makes absolute sense. The other thing too, which was actually really very shocking to me. So the fact that, Bitcoin is something of value to Afghanis, the fact that they can, take their life savings with them, whether they're staying in the country or they're leaving, that makes a lot of sense. But what you might be surprised to know that Afghanistan recently, and who was this study by? Chain Analysis, right? Chain Analysis did release some data a couple of days ago, and they ranked Afghanistan as the 20th country in the world in terms of overall crypto adoption. Number 20. I mean, I'm looking at this list here on my screen, and Australia is in here. You got Vietnam, 1, India, 2, Pakistan, 3. Our Indian viewers will be loving that right now, trumping Pakistan again. And then you've got at number 20, Afghanistan. Right now, when you just isolate peer-to-peer exchange volumes, Afghanistan ranks seventh place. So the fact, if me and you are Afghanis, Ahmed, and we're trading, Bitcoin in Afghanistan, they rank 7th in the world. Last year, it was so minimal, they didn't even make the list. They didn't even make the list, 150, 160. But it just shows you the real user case and the application in places like that. Your thoughts on that before I move off, Ahmed?
Yeah, for sure. So thanks for that information, and yes, that is phenomenal. I recommend everybody to go check out this report, that research in the description, because I checked it out, and honestly, it shook me. I didn't know that India, Pakistan were much above the Western countries, and it shows you where the future is going. Kat, now talking about what you said about how the Afghans are putting their money in crypto as a form of a safer value holder. If you went back just 1 century, that was gold. Do you know what I'm trying to say here?
Yeah.
So in the 19th or even the 18th, even much before that, safer holds of in other commodities, gold, silver, bronze, whatever, just in commodities. And now in this Bitcoin and whatever you want to put your money in, so you're seeing this transition, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people are still using gold as a form of value holder. But seeing that transition towards crypto, is huge. And I, for me, being someone who's been always shocked, but at the same time, I understand as to why it's happening, because I see the usability and the utility of crypto. So this is exciting, but at the same time, I want to empathize with our Afghan community. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for those guys also, inshallah, and may this be a solution for them, for their financial situations.
I mean. On to my final story of the week. Visa jumping into the NFT craze, buying a CryptoPunk for $150,000. Now, let's be honest, right? $150,000 is petty cash for Visa. And for those of you who know me, I run my own digital marketing agency. So the marketer in me is like, man, this is a publicity stunt, 100%. But looking into it further, I'm really not so sure. I do think this is showing a macro shift in terms of NFTs. Sure, it starts with the communities. It starts with kids. It starts with these different groups in I guess the globe, right? But this is not just a fad. It's not just something that they're doing, and I'll explain why. So CryptoPunks, for those of you who don't know, they were one of the first, not the first actually, one of the first NFTs minted on Ethereum, and this was back in like 2017 or something. And now they go from triple figures, 6 figures, 7 figures, and that's sort of what they look like if you're looking at my screen. But actually, funnily enough, they actually, you read a little bit further and they talk about the fact that we're doing this to help our clients and partners participate. We need a first-hand understanding of the infrastructure requirements for a global brand to purchase, store, and leverage NFTs. So reading in between that, they are thinking about, obviously they have advisory, they have financial services, they have business services. They're thinking about, how do we advise our clients? How does Visa advise our clients about NFTs? They pay us big money. We need to understand it ourselves. And he talks about, so this was a guy, Sheffield, the head of crypto at Visa. So Visa has a head of crypto, and you can bet that that guy has a team underneath him. He said, with our CryptoPunk purchase, we're jumping in feet first. This is just the beginning of our work in this space. And I did a little bit more research. I did a little bit more digging, and I found that Visa actually released a white paper. They actually released a full 17-page white paper that you can see on your screen here. We can link in the show notes. You can read it if you want. You probably won't. I didn't. I'll be honest with you. For me, I just find this interesting, the fact that they've invested to create this white paper. What is an NFT? Unlocking new commerce engagement opportunities, blah, blah, blah. So this is not a flash in the pan for them. They're doing this, and I'm reading off their corporate page here, to help businesses and brands better understand NFTs and how they might be harnessed. So they are, formulating guidelines. They obviously want to make a big play in this space, and watch this space. So I am talking a little bit about my NFT story, which I'll save for another segment coming up soon. But guys, that is the end of the market update for the week.
Phenomenal. Okay. So that is a lot of good news for the crypto world, and a lot of updates for you guys. Now, slowly moving on to Marhaba and what's going on with Marhaba. So, I got some information from our internal teams that white paper is done. It will be launching in about 2 days, so stay excited for that. The Sharia paper is also done, and it will be launching right after the white paper, I think a few days after. And then Gleam contest, we have already gotten our winners, so all those winners will be getting their rewards soon. Also, we're just waiting on a few people to give their wallet address, so we can just send out the money in one go. There's a sticker contest that's going on right now. Please do jump onto the sticker contest. I've already said it. Whoever makes the funniest sticker with Nakeeb Mohammed, who's the founder of Marhaba, I will vote. My vote will go for that sticker. So the funniest one will be for that. I need that sticker for my personal use also. That's why I'm asking for it. And just for that, some big news. Seed funding is complete. So, we've gotten our investors for all the seed funding. Now we're moving to the round 2 funding, which is starting on Tuesday, which is in a few days, and it will probably go for about 10 working days. And This is if you missed out the first opportunity to jump in, this is your chance to jump in. And I would say don't miss out if this is something you're interested in. That is our Marhaba update. Now, Moby, any comments on that? Anything that you're excited about? Anything that you think I should talk about more than
No, there is a
that?
mad lag, so this is not going to sound as cool and funny as
Exactly.
I thought. But that was my little, I guess, comment. My little, to truth be told, I wanted to do that when you said the funding, the seed round funding is closed. But yeah, timing is everything in
Yeah.
comedy, and I didn't get it there. But no, exciting stuff, man. Obviously, full disclaimer, Ahmed and I both invested as well, so that was exciting to see that round close and
Mhm.
move on to the next phase. But yeah, amazing stuff.
Yeah. All right. Instead of the week, algo trading, which is algorithmic trading. So the right also before I get into the different topics that I'm going to talk about, but what is algorithm trading? People find a pattern or they track certain methods that they've been doing, or whatever the market has in regards to the success factors from certain actions. They put them all in an algorithm. The algorithm for you look at various things in the market. And recently, there's been a lot of hype around algo trading. I've reached, like, a lot of people have reached out to me in regards to, hey, do you want to make 10x, 20x using our algorithm solutions? And I've used algo trading in the past, so I know that there is some success factors into it, and I know you can make money off it because they designed a pattern which is a successful pattern, and then they build would always keep updating itself. Like the organizers would continuously go in there, change it up, and update itself as the market moves up or down. So the crypto algo, there's a few things I want you guys to keep in mind. So you can use algo trading in the bull market and in the bear market. In the bull market, because everything is going up, you're potentially going to make more money. Now in the bear market, sometimes you won't be able to make a lot of good decisions, but algo trading will be. Algo trading will be able to determine, when the trough is hitting and when the next smaller peak is going to touch. So they will just trade in those bits. You want to make sure the algorithm or algo trading bot automatically do derivatives, will automatically do short, any form of cryptos. And not, as we know, not all cryptos are permissible. So you've got to be a little bit cautious of that. The ones that I've used, you guys can check it out on my YouTube channel. I've already made a video on in regards to this, which algo bots are permissible from my experience. But that's something you guys can check out from Think Log Grow Rich channel and check it out for yourself. But just be very cautious of that because I've seen many of the algo trading bots trade impermissible methods and trade impermissible cryptos, and then you do get rewarded from them. My personal experience with them has been about not. I was pretty sorry. 20%, 23% in 1 month, which is really good when you think about it. So just something that I think you guys should all know about. Any thoughts on that, Moby?
To be honest, Ahmed, I've never done that myself, so I can't really comment. I would just just say exercise caution. If you don't really know what you're doing, make sure you are following or doing research. Like you sort of say, obviously you've done it, you've
Yeah.
got that experience, so make sure you can check with someone who's done it. But as a long term sort of value investor, I kind of more I'm more on the kind of hold sort of side, and I have a small investment bag, but no, I get you'd know about that more than me.
Hmm. Yeah. So exactly what you said. Guys, listen to what Moby is saying very seriously. So I think I should clarify. I have about 3 bags, and one of them is more for fun. And in that fun bag is where I do a lot of the quick trades, day trades, and algo trades. So, and then I link it to a bot, and then the bot does all the trading for it, right? And he's right. If you don't understand what's happening in the market, this is not something that you understood the market. Remember, nothing is a quick solution. Do not look for shortcuts, especially when you're investing. You want to have the knowledge about what you're doing, what you're putting your money into, and your investments. So, Kat, I think I should clarify a little bit on that. That I if you know what you're doing, you've traded X amount of time, you've been a successful trader with crypto, and you're looking for a solution where you don't have to think a lot and you can just invest quickly, then you can look into stuff like this. But this one is gonna be a topic that's your topic, something that I think something that I'm gonna learn a lot from your side, how to get into NFTs and what's you bought yourself an NFT. What's going on?
Yeah, so this weekend, literally
You
just
look happy.
yesterday.
You look excited,
Yeah,
man.
well, we'll see. Like I this weekend, literally a day and a half ago from time of recording. So today's my Sunday evening right now. I FOMO'd into not my first NFT. My first NFT was probably a couple of months ago. I bought into NBA Top Shots. I'm not into basketball, my son is, but I just thought I'd give it a go, and because I was investigating the Flow blockchain. So I've said on this, show before, I don't invest into anything I don't understand. I need to understand it. So when I invested into Flow, which used to be one of my bigger holdings, I wanted to see what it's all about. I wanted to see the user experience and, how users buy it. Is it easy? Is it fun? What's the community like? So, which is a bit of a, side tip as well. Anyway, this weekend was my first biggest purchase into the NFT space. And look, one thing I'll sort of say is they're not going away, right? If some of you listening to this skeptical, I 100% hear you. I was one of them as well. Even as early as a couple of months ago, I'm like, man, I don't really get it, right? But just because you don't understand something doesn't warrant you not to look into it if there is a reason to do so. You know what I mean? So they're not a bubble. They're going to continue to grow. Some will fail.
Your curiosity should be. Yeah, I was saying your curiosity should want you to learn more about it and see what's the hype all about.
Yeah, absolutely. That the stuff that got you into crypto can get you into NFTs. So honestly, it's just like crypto. Like most of them are going to fail. Of course they are. Just like crypto, most cryptocurrency coins, next bull run, the ones that you see in the top 1600, whatever they are, they're not going to be around, right? So I guess, and some are going to be great investments, and the evidence is there. That is undisputable. That's an objective reality. Some of them are doing really, really well. So understanding that, the question then becomes, how do you identify a good NFT investment? And again, in some ways, it's very similar to identifying a crypto project. So the ones that I'm looking for, and these aren't necessarily the only ones that do well, the ones that I'm looking for and are looking at, they how do I say this? They're the ones that allow people to use them as a form of expression. You're right. So, before I jumped on to, the recording this with Ahmed, you were like, oh, I noticed you changed your profile picture on WhatsApp, to, the NFT that you bought, right? So, if you buy a squiggly line or a rock, and mind you, both of those things did really, really, really well, they're not necessarily a form of expression. So, of course, those things can still do really well. They can do really well. But the ones I'm looking at are the ones where two things, they have communities around them and they have that form of expression. So I'm looking at things, and again, I haven't invested in these examples I'm about to mention, but Degen Apes, why did that blow up? And that was the one on Solana. CryptoPunks, the Bored Ape Yacht Club. What do they all have in common? Well, one, they all have communities, and some of them have exclusive communities to the people that buy them. And two, every single one of them has been used as a profile picture, on their Twitter and Facebook and whatnot. It's a form of expression. So what I want to do now is share my NFT story and hopefully share a couple of lessons along the way. Again, I'm a baby in this space. I think honestly, most people probably are, because it's still quite a new thing, but I thought I'd sort of share what I did. Now, if I go back to my screen here, You can see my screen. The first thing I did was I went to nftcalendar.io. There's a bunch of these floating around. This is one that I found with only a little bit of search, and essentially it's a calendar for NFT drops. Now, at this juncture, I should mention that there are two ways you can buy NFTs. One is when they're first released, or the technical term is they're minted via a drop, of course. Or you can go onto the secondary market like Rarible or OpenSea. Right, so I wanted to buy a drop because often that's when you can, not always, but often the ones that blow up, the cheapest you're usually going to get them is at mint. And I just like the idea of being the first owner, of something, of an NFT, because of course, when you buy an NFT and you change it and you change it and then someone else buys it and someone else buys it, there's sort of that transaction and you can see, who they were. So anyway, so I went onto this website here, nftcalendar.io, and then I started looking at all these NFTs and I sort of had my own thesis in mind, right? So you have your own rules. I'm like, okay, I want something that looks cool, right? It looks cool. Does it actually look something I would like to have? B, does it have a community behind it? And C, can I use it as a form of expression? So I'm looking on my screen here. There's this Punk Circuit one. It just looks like a ripoff of CryptoPunks. Odd Ogres, I believe, actually did really, really well as well. And then I found this one called the Raccoon Secret Society, right? So then I looked at these guys and, you can see on my screen here, these raccoons, they're all dressed in, they have all these different, features and attributes that make them more rare or common than others. And then what I sort of did is I sort of looked at, just not the tokenomics, but I guess the fundamentals behind it. So they're going to have 10,000 NFTs. Awesome. The minting price is 0.02 ETH. So, okay, that's, affordable. And then I looked at their Twitter and Discord, and I found that their Twitter at the time had, 7.4 thousand. This is out of date now. It's much higher. It's almost 10,000. But their Twitter had 7.4 thousand followers, and the Discord had 1,800. And I'm like, okay, this is interesting. This thing hasn't really launched yet, hasn't really taken off yet. I jumped into the Discord group. I probably wasted 5-6 hours of my life the last Friday night set. Probably altogether I've wasted about 10 hours of my life, or invested 10 hours of my life, depends on whether you ask me or my wife. And then I essentially, waited for, and obviously I'm showing the website here. I went on the website and I could initiate the mint from there. Now, obviously you can't do that now because they're sold out. And then I bought myself a series of 10 raccoons, right? So you can see this on my screen here. There's this one with an eye patch and a hat, etc., etc. There's this one with alien eyes or spider eyes. And then I've got this one here, right? That has it almost looks like an Illuminati eye in its head. And that is called a harbinger, right? So out of the 10,000 that they have 1,000 that are harbingers. And if you combine 3 of them together, you can mint an angel. Anyway, why am I mentioning all this? Well, what I was actually looking at, this was appealing to me because they have these special attributes. There's a scarcity factor. There is a reason for these to exist in the ecosystem. And now just looking at, now again, this is just a day and a half old. I'm on their profile page on the OpenSea website. You can see they've got the 10,000 items there, 2.3 thousand owners. The floor price is 0.02. So that means what is, the minimal price that you could buy. Now this price is still close to, it is the mint price, but they've had 92 ETH traded, so almost 100 ETH traded in a space of a day and a half, which is insane. Now the last thing I'll sort of show you here is I've just sorted from highest last sale. This one here went for, the last sale was 3.8 ETH. So some lucky person bought it for 0.02 ETH and flipped it for 3.8 ETH. This one here flipped for 3 ETH, so on and so forth. Now I haven't got any myself crazy that I can flip for that price, not yet. But my whole aim is to hold them for a little bit, wait for because you have to realize too is a lot of the ones that are now killing it, they didn't start at a very, very high level. They didn't start with the groups and the communities. So compared to other launches, from what I've heard from other people and people I've asked in Discord groups, they think it looks pretty well. Like it's a very strong start. And not to mention the artistry behind it, the artists behind it. It looks kind of cool. It looks like something is cool enough to put on your display picture, and I did. So that's kind of my, I guess, baby steps into NFTs, and I sort of wanted to share. But when you sort of understand the dynamics behind it, the groups behind it, when you jump into the communities, and again, it took me 10 hours of my life, you can understand why these things will do well. So that's it. That's my NFT play. I'm not going to, like FOMO into any more. So now I've got my NFT play. I've got my, which is only a small proportion of my investment, and I'm sort of done. But I had to get exposure. I had to sort of understand the community and the hype behind some of these things and, I guess ape into them. But yeah, your thoughts, Ahmed. What do you think about raccoons and NFTs and apes and that sort of thing?
Yeah, man. When I saw the raccoon on your, because you sent me a website, the Raccoon Society, and I was like, why is this guy sending? I even asked you, what is this? And like, what is this? You're like, it's a secret. I'm like, who's the raccoon? You're like, it's a secret. So, and then I saw the picture, and it all made sense to him. Like he bought the NFTs, and I got excited for you. So, mashallah, really praying that 10 hours of effort from your side will pay off in many, many X gains, inshallah, mashallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give you more on that. And so, guys, this is what it is. He was curious. He spent the 10 hours. He did a good investment, and I'm pretty sure this investment is going to pay off pretty well, because I've seen similar occurrences in the past, which I knew about. I didn't jump in, fear factor, whatever it was. I didn't know it was really NFTs, and then I didn't get in after because I got way too busy. But Kat, I think I'm gonna watch your part that you just explained by sharing your screen again when you upload this on YouTube, so I can maybe even jump into one of the newer projects in regards to NFT. But that leads me to the next part, which is community question of the week. It was asked in many people in many of our AMAs, NFTs, and what is Marhaba's plan on NFTs? Yeah, so Marhaba is developing a full-out NFT marketplace, which it's initially going to be run in BSC, and then they're going to slowly move on to others if as required. Users will be able to mint, sell, buy new NFTs, and of course MHB will be involved, which is the Marhaba token. And you guys can buy new NFTs, you can trade them, you can make new ones if you want, and especially if you're a artist and you do calligraphy or you do any form of architectural designs or anything that you think is gonna be appealing to the wider market, jump in, mint your own NFTs, and you guys can sell it. I'm excited to see what type of NFTs come on there because I might even buy some and then see what I can do with them. But Kat, that is something that's also upcoming from the Marhaba side. That wraps up most of our discussions. Moby, any last topics or points? I think today was a long episode, but it was a very...
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think we've covered it. It's a great episode today. A lot of, I think I like to hope a lot of functional stuff people can take away. Use those resources, check out those calendars, and don't FOMO in, right? Like, I've seen a lot of people making a lot of money on NFTs. And you're like, oh man, I got to get in. This is crypto, right? Like this is our space. We're supposed to understand it. So, do that research. And even if you sort of notice, like, you have an investor thesis, you have some rules that you sort of play by to avoid you from FOMOing in. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm going to check out what's coming up. I'm going to try to look at the ones that did well. I'm going to try to use my, limited brain power and my experience that I have in this space to come up with rules, okay, community, expression, good artistry, that sort of thing. And then use that. So then you don't end up buying like, if a squiggle did really well and then you buy like a straight line the next week, like why didn't my straight line do well? I just spent 1 ETH. You're not going to FOMO in. So whatever you do, crypto, NFTs, investment, share, have an investor thesis, have those rules and stick by those rules and principles.
Yes. All right, guys, that kind of wraps up this week's episode. If you guys enjoyed the episode, for sure, share this with all your brothers and sisters, your uncles and aunties, everyone who's forcing you about, to do different things in life. Tell them, I'll be a doctor, engineer, lawyer, but also you got to subscribe to this channel. You got to like, and you got to share this. So do all that stuff. Plus, check us out on our other social medias. And other than that, I think we're good. Once again, thank you so much for coming. As always, assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.